Greetings friends, we have a special episode to celebrate 1,000 subscribers to Bad Productions today. I am Captain Glasses and joining me are my friends Matt and Andy. We welcome you all to Godzilla Fest 2022. Godzilla Fest, G-Fest in short, is an annual gathering dedicated to all things Godzilla, kaiju, tokusatsu, and more. Instead of the Crown Plaza Hotel where G-Fest traditionally occurs, this year's convention is at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Rosemont, Illinois. Not only is it a beautiful location to stay in, but it's also closer to the Rosemont Blue Line than the Crown Plaza. After checking in at the front desk, it was time for us to check out our room on the 3rd floor. And here's a quick little room tour of where we will be staying for the next 3 days. Our room had a viewing balcony where you're able to see how close the Rosemont Blue Line station is to the Hyatt Regency. After choosing sleeping arrangements, it was time for us to set up the room. Out of the 3 of us, Andy brought the most Godzilla-themed merchandise. For instance, he brought this wonderful blanket that has all the Toho Japanese film posters on it, and an assortment of Showa-era Bandai movie monster series figures just for the occasion. I, on the other hand, brought my Trendmaster's Roaring Godzilla that I got from the last G-Fest. Unfortunately, his tail broke during transit. Sad times. So we went to Mitsuwa to distract me from my toy problem, checked out the bookstore for any Godzilla items, had a late lunch, and played arcade games before leaving for the day.
Oh wait, no shoes, they're not doing the thing. Yeah.
So we made our way back to the Hyatt Regency. We just brought snacks and drinks that would last us the entire G-Fest weekend. However, I begged Andy and Matt to go with me to the Fashion Outlet Mall so that I could buy crazy glue to fix my figure from 7-Eleven. Unfortunately, it was closed. On the bright side, I found a jeans, I guess. We waited in line to get our badges, and we ended the night by watching a movie. At least one of us was having fun with his figures. It was 8 a.m. on the first day of Godzilla Fest. Before heading down to get in line outside the vendor's hall, Andy and I got some elevator footage for shenanigans. By the way, did you know that the elevator cars have cool lights underneath them? I didn't know that until Andy told me that day. Kind of a neat feature for those who haven't stayed at this Hyatt before. Even though we planned to get in line 2 hours before opening, there were still a lot of people ahead of us. After another hour passes, more and more attendees start to line up. I was lucky to have been in the first few rows when the doors opened. But let me tell you, after 2 years of cancellation and less than a minute to spare, the hype was real, and the excitement was contagious. It's worth it to note that I have not attended G-Fest for all 3 days before. For some reason, I always went on Sunday because of, deals and potential discounts on my previous outings, and never thought to attend all 3 days. But being at the beginning of G-Fest as its doors opened to the fans and attendees was a magical experience. I've been to multiple conventions before, but this Friday morning hit different. I should be accustomed to the rows of booths, vinyl figures, giant posters, and racks of graphic tees, but returning to G-Fest after 2 years and the COVID-19 pandemic reignited that memory of my first G-Fest experience. You all must be thinking, wait, isn't this the same guy that goes to a lot of anime conventions, pop culture expos, and toy shows in the Chicago area? What makes this event so special above the others? I might have to go in depth in another video, but long story short, G-Fest was my first convention experience. Without it, I wouldn't know anything about the world of Godzilla, giant movie monsters, collectibles, cosplay, and conventions as a whole. I learned in 2005 that there are special places and events where people can share the same interests and passions as you do. Without G-Fest, I wouldn't be the convention, cosplay, and collectible junkie I am today. There are a lot of activities you can participate at G-Fest, such as cosplay and modeling threads to movie showings at the auditoriums. I just saw Howl from Beyond the Fog for the first time on Friday, and I really recommend it if you haven't watched it yet. Really stellar film. After a couple of hours at the vendors hall, we move on to the Mechagodzilla Game Lounge. Like the vendors hall, the gaming lounge has enough space to move around without cramping the entire area. Galloping Ghost, the local arcade business, was generous to provide G-Fest with an assortment of free-to-play kaiju-themed arcade cabinets. There's also the Pipeworks Godzilla trilogy, vintage Godzilla console games, and the recently released Dawn of the Monsters. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get footage of the video game tournament, but based on people's opinions, I heard it was pretty insane, and I wish I was there. Maybe next time. But as always, the Mechagodzilla Arcade Lounge is a nice spot for those who want to take a break from the vendors hall and compete in pixelated beat-em-ups for an hour or two. The next attraction on our list is the Model Display Room. If you love model kits, dioramas, and art pieces, this is the place for you. Again, you'll go through a room full of homemade entries that pay homage to every classic monster movie you could think of, such as War of the Gargantuas, Destroy All Monsters, The Valley of Gwanji, A Sound of Thunder, and of course, Godzilla. The amount of time and work people put into their art pieces is astounding. I overheard one of the modelers saying that he used toilet wipes to make waves for his Clash of the Titans Kraken diorama. I would have never thought of that if I were to make a set for toy photography. I was so enthralled by all these models that I tried to capture every detail on film. It makes me want to create my own set and participate in the contest someday. Or heck, invest in a better camera so that I could actually get these in 4K so that I could appreciate the details and the craftsmanship a little.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Got a buildup of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay.
After a lovely stroll through the model room, we decide to head back to the vendors hall before closing for the day. Coming back to the hotel room, Matt just got his first figure of the day, the YMSF Kumanga, which was one of the figures on his wish list.
Spider.
Spider.
Alright,
And I set up my first day haul on the chair next to him. Since my friend's Blu-ray remote didn't have batteries, we resorted to my computer to play a couple of movies before sleeping in. And here we are on Saturday of Godzilla Fest Day 2. I am cosplaying as Ozaki from Final Wars, and it's basically just the same old run-through of the vendors hall. Again, get a good look at all of the different items, the merchandise, any potential deals that can go down on the second day. I usually don't cosplay at Godzilla Fest, but since I'm staying all 3 days, I might as well make an exception for one of the days. But enough about me. Let's see what Andy's up to.
There he is.
Oh, it is the one I have. Nice. Congrats.
Oh, he's so cool.
That's awesome, dude.
And he's pristine. Look at the silver on the tail and the spines.
The figure that my friend just recently purchased was the 2003 Bandai Japan Movie Monster Series Godzilla 1974. One of our favorite vendors, Kaiju Days, just happened to have him, and since it was in good condition and had the tag, my friend Andy could not resist. I realized that on my second day that a lot of people tend to find the figures that they're looking for even before Sunday, which is usually what I think is the big shopping day for conventions in general. We decided to take a little break away from the vendor's hall, and guess what? We found batteries and crazy glue at the nearby Hotel Embassy Suites. So we celebrated with some food before heading back to the costume contest. And boy, was it packed. There wasn't any seats for me, so I decided to wait it outside. Unfortunately, I did not have time to sign up for the costume contest and parade on Friday afternoon since I was at the vendor's hall. But it was pretty nice seeing what people have to offer, the amount of work and detail they put into their costumes, and how much fun everyone was having, both the contestants and the attendees. Plus, I get to make a couple of friends while I was waiting in the crowd, so I think it's a win-win for everyone. And if I were to judge all the contestants, all of them are absolute winners. Again, first time going to the costume contest and parade at Godzilla Fest, and it was a spectacle, a fun spectacle. However, I wish that I was able to make it earlier so that I could, one, be in the panel room when all the contestants are going up on stage. However, if for any future Godzilla Fest events I decide to become part of the cosplay contest and the costume parade, I would have Andy or Matt get footage for any future video outings. But for now, I was able to get some footage of the cosplayers and the costumers coming out to greet the guests, and here's a good few of them. Once the costume contest was done, we retreated back to our hotel room and watched a movie to end the Saturday night. Before we traveled through the dealer's hall one last time on Sunday, we decided to take a look through the artist display. People of all ages expressed their love for Godzilla and other kaiju through paint, ink sketches, papier-mâché collages, 3D prints, Lego, cardboard, and clay. There's even one contestant that made Godzilla art out of pizza. It didn't matter how old you were or how skilled you are at crafting, anyone was welcome to create different works of art based on everyone's favorite kaiju. It's nice to be in a quiet, relaxed setting like the art display room, not as noisy and packed as the vendor's hall. Think of it as an exhibition where you admire works of art that stand before you. If any of the participants are watching this video right now, we thank you for bringing your creativity to the table. As someone who loves to be in the vendor's hall at any convention, The art room at Godzilla Fest was a nice change of pace, and I was happy to get some footage before the convention closed. One piece that stood out to me was the second place winner that suspiciously looks like a recently fixed figure I brought to this convention. Coincidence? I think not. Despite how busy Friday and Saturday were, Sunday did not show signs of slowing down at the end of G-Fest. Attendees raced through the vendors hall, trying to find last-minute purchases and negotiate deals with the various vendors before they close up shop. I decided to stop by Artist Alley to meet Matt Frank, as well as Adam Gorham. It was an honor to see them because they got me into reading and collecting Godzilla comics, and I couldn't leave without getting myself a little souvenir. I decided to take a look around all the different booths and gathered some video footage for the highlight section. You never know what new items vendors will bring out, especially on the last day of Godzilla Fest. Then, after a couple of walkthroughs, I took a quick breather towards the Mechagodzilla arcade. Fortunately, I found Matt already there, but he was struggling against a vintage Godzilla game. Taking a quick break at the Mecha G arcade was enough time for me to get back into looking at every nook and cranny at the vendors hall, especially when you have a couple of hours left before Godzilla Fest closes. Browsing around the last day made me realize that even though I went to Godzilla Fest before on Sunday, a lot of the good things that were on my list were found on the first 2 days, which means that if I went on Sunday, that meant that all the things that I could have gotten in my haul would have been gone. But that did not stop me from getting myself last minute deals, especially at Showcase Daikaiju, where they had a couple of Gashapon sets that I really wanted, so I decided to get them before I left for the day. Despite having over an hour left until the vendors hall closes, it was about time for us to leave and make our final exit from Godzilla Fest 2022. We packed up our bags, said goodbye to our new friends, and exited the Hyatt Regency in a cloudy, somewhat drizzling Sunday afternoon. What was once a jam-packed 4-day weekend of Godzilla pop culture, costume contests, video games, movies, and collectibles at every corner, it felt like it went really fast and things are going back to a slow snail's pace. Vesha was the first one to leave back home. Andy went home second, and then it was my turn to go back home alone. As I look upon my Godzilla Fest haul, I started to realize about the memories that we had, the preparation, the shenanigans, the movie nights we had, and the fact that we were all in a place where Godzilla fans of all ages were able to enjoy life for those 4 days. And while it's sad to see people go, it's good to know that there is a strong sense of community and camaraderie within all different Godzilla fans of all ages. It was sad that we couldn't get to see Don Fry in person this year, but we do have a chance to show him that we wish him well on his full recovery, and that hopefully we get to see him next year. For now, I'm thankful that I had friends that brought me to this wonderful Godzilla Fest experience. This is one of the most memorable moments of my life, and I'll never forget it. But until then, thank you for stopping by to see the Bat Productions 1K subscriber special. Hopefully you get to see more of my haul in another video. But until then, this is Captain Glasses, signing off. See you next time, Godzilla Fest.